How's it, guys? This is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Right off the bat, I am feeling better, so hopefully the voice is also sounding a lot better. Apologies for the dodgy voice in this week, but unfortunately I was a little bit sick. But in terms of the video for today, we're going to be looking at the team selection for Game Week 30. Starting off the video, we're going to be looking at that review of Game Week 29. I know Game Week 29 seems like it was forever ago, but it's always important to take a look at the previous game week and how the squad got on. We're then going to be talking about our Game Week 31 wildcard plans and what impact that has if we do wildcard or if we don't wildcard on the free transfer for this week. The transfer plan is then going to be discussed before we finally wrap up the video with looking at how the squad is looking currently before that Game Week 30 deadline. So that's something you're interested in. Sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So going over Game Week 29, and I won't lie to you, it was quite enjoyable that we did have quite an extended break over this international break because the transfer decision for Game Week 29 was whether to take a -4 hit for Gareth Bale or to take that -4 hit and bring in Trossard. And if I did bring in Trossard, I was probably going to captain him. So now you can understand why I actually enjoyed having an extended break after that terrible transfer plan. I don't really know how that transfer plan went so badly, but it just shows the variance in FPL sometimes between two decisions. I know with hindsight, after these game weeks, you kind of look back and look at all the mistakes that you made, but in terms of that transfer, it really was 50-50, so it's really annoying how Gareth Bale didn't even come off the bench, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on. So 61 points for blank game week 29, the biggest blank game week of this FPL season. So I was really happy to get a green arrow, but it was kind of expected. We've done so much planning for this game week that it was going to be quite annoying if we didn't get a green arrow. So currently we're just sitting below that 48k mark, and now we kind of have to tick on for the rest of the season if we want to get to that top 10k. But with the wild card in our back pocket, I really do think we can stack those differentials when we do choose to wildcard, and hopefully they'll propel us up the ranks quite a lot. So just below that 50k, but top 10k is always going to be our main target. Starting off in goal, we got Sanchez. Accompanying him was also Dunk. Those were the other two transfers that we did use with those two free transfers for blank game week 29. Luckily, those two both returned some points. A Dunk not getting an attacking return is a little bit expected, but it was kind of annoying how Feltman went and got an assist there. So I think he was sitting on about 11 points. So congratulations if you guys did have him. Definitely more of the differential aspect there, and you kind of reap the rewards. The rest of the defense, we just got Dallas here with the 2 points, and then Sufal with 0 points. I think he picked up a yellow card and obviously conceded quite a few goals. I can't really exactly remember, but that definitely was the case because I definitely think that he did start. But with Dallas as well there with just the 2 points, always a little bit expected from a Leeds point of view just because of how defensively they are sometimes hit or miss. Been on the miss side of things for most of the FPL season. You can't really trust them from a defensive point of view, but Dallas always in and around that box there. I think he did start at that midfield position, so out of position there in terms of that fixture. So 2 points might be a little bit unlucky, but I always will kind of just take having the chance of him getting an attacking return versus having a defensive return. The midfield was also a little bit hit or miss here. We've got Rafinha and we have Lingard, who performed really well. Lingard was kind of the differential that really secured that green arrow for my own squad. I had a really good performance there, and then Rafinha also had a good performance. The two players, they were quite disappointing. I mean, we did have Human Son, but as I predicted, definitely wasn't going to start for blank game week 29, and we knew that because if he started that fixture, he would have had to go on South Korean international duty, and having to play teams like Japan would have been quite a hindrance there with that whole traveling time. So Son was expected to blank, but the player that wasn't expected to blank was going to be Gareth Bale. I know that he hasn't really been playing up to the standard probably that Jose Mourinho wants him to play at in terms of him not really dropping for defensive action and that kind of thing, but I thought at least he would come off the bench once kind of Spurs wrapped up that win. But that wasn't the case. They remained on the bench, and that kind of leads us in a very weird situation for the upcoming game weeks, because is he going to start the upcoming game weeks? Probably not. After that fixture came out and said that the plan is to move back to Real Madrid at the end of the season. So from a positive impact point of view, I don't really think things are looking that good in terms of Gareth Bale and Spurs right now. So I kind of just have to have hope that he's going to start the next game, and then we can simply take him out whenever the opportunity comes around. The front line also had some good performance here. We had Bamford with 11 points, and then also Harry Kane. Interesting thing is, if you went for a differential captain, it probably paid off because all the other options that you considered, such as a Trossard, such as a Rafinha, a Bamford, got more points than Harry Kane. Only the 7 points here, but that is enough for kind of the most captain player in the game. So in terms of his scoring and him not scoring, didn't really impact the team that much because everyone in the kind of the top 10k captain Harry Kane anyway. And as I said, if you went differential, it was kind of the game week to do that. Then finally we have Ollie Watkins with just the 2 points. It's kind of becoming a little bit of a habit here with Ollie Watkins. Without Jack Grealish, from an attacking point of view, Aston Villa have not really been that great, not really been up to scratch. But now with Jack Grealish returning from his injury, hopefully for game Game Week 30. Maybe Ollie Watkins can get on the end of some goals and some assists, hopefully. On the bench, literally nothing to talk about. We simply have Diaz, Lucas Digne, and Gundogan, and also Foster, who weren't going to play anyways, so that's already that unexpected. But as I said, 61 points, happy with a green arrow. Hopefully this can kind of be the start of another green arrow run from now to the end of the season. But now let's get on to the transfer decisions. So I want to talk about the Game Week 31 wildcard before I talk about the transfers, because it does kind of have a big impact on it. So my main thinking behind the Game Week 31 wildcard is to wildcard or not to wildcard. But the thing that you're probably asking is that I've been on this Game Week 31 wildcard for quite a while, so what has changed my mind? And the thing that's changed my mind, the gist of it, is that there's going to be a potential for a massive double game week from Game Week 35 to Game Week 38. If you want to know the reason behind that, you guys can go check out any of the videos I created in the last 2 days. That includes the updated wildcard yesterday, as well as the preview for Game Week 30 2 days ago. So in that video, I went over the kind of the gist of why that decision is going to be made, but all you need to know is that there is a potential for double game week to be between Game Week 35 and 38, and it's going to be quite a substantial one. And you know me and double game weeks, they're the best thing since sliced bread in my opinion, so I kind of always want to target those double game weeks. But the kind of decision and the dilemma I'm in right now is that do I go for confirmed fixture swings in Game Week 31 in terms of teams like Liverpool, Arsenal, with some good differentials there to hopefully propel us up to that top 10k, or do I go for an unconfirmed double game week in the future that I could potentially take advantage of? And that's why I've kind of been leaning towards maybe going for the set strategy of just going for the Game Week 31 wildcard, because we've planned for it so much. And what I also did was I looked at the squad for Game Week 31, for Game Week 32, for Game Week 33, and the squad doesn't look too great. We have a lot of opposition there facing teams like City, Leicester. I don't really want to have those players in my squad, so at least then I can get on some teams with some nice fixture swings. We've spoken about this week continuously, and we even made a best fixture swing video starting off on Monday evening. So if you guys want to go check that out, also go check that video out, and you can kind of see the teams that we're focusing on. We also can get the squad nicely set up for that blank Game Week 33. Currently, you have quite a few players in blank Game Week 33 that won't allow us to get a full starting 11, so that's also something to take into consideration. So I think right now I'm leaning towards going for the Game Week 31 wildcard, but if we do get any more news about a potential double late on the season, either this afternoon or maybe tomorrow morning, then that could swing my decision. But that's enough for the wildcard. Let's get into the transfer plan. So as I mentioned with the Game Week 31 wildcard, it actually does have some effect on the transfers for this week. So only one free transfer this week, and the transfer I'm looking at doing is taking Sufal out and then going for either Alonso or Azpilicueta. And this is where the Game Week 31 wildcard comes into effect. Because if I'm going to be using the wildcard next game week, I'll be going for the more of a punt play and going for a Marcus Alonso over an Azpilicueta. But if I want to go for a long-term move, definitely Azpilicueta is the better option to go for. And if you guys don't have a wildcard or not going to be using the wildcard yet, I would definitely look at Azpi over Alonso just because of that long-term potential. More of a consistent option, going to be playing more minutes, but from a one game week punt point of view, definitely Marcus Alonso is the better option. Just from an attacking point of view, if you guys can remember from previous FPL seasons, one of the most attacking defenders on his day, and that's why I'm going to be going for him. The nice thing about Alonso as well is that he hasn't had an international break, and with that Champions League coming up in the near future, this midweek and next midweek, I don't think they're going to want Alonso to lose too much match fitness, and that's why I definitely think against West Bromwich Albion he will be starting. Also from a point of view of West Brom, probably will be a little bit more of a defensive squad. They're always set up with Alonso there because he's more attacking, so I do think Alonso has a great shout of playing this week, and that's why I'm comfortable going with him for a one-week punt. But as I mentioned, Azpilicueta equally as good an option over the long term, and I would suggest them if you guys want a more medium to long-term move. But this is the transfer that I have made. I have not made it yet, as I'm waiting for press conference news today. I'm recording this video on Friday morning, so you guys will be getting this fresh out the box. So just stay tuned to that press conference news, as there's a lot of news that I'll be getting out of that international break since the players have been away from their club for the majority of the last 2 weeks. So this is how the squad is setting up currently without any transfers made. As I mentioned, waiting for that press conference news before making any confirmed moves, and hopefully in the Deadline with Dayvy live stream tomorrow, we might be making a live transfer if there's no price rises happening tonight. So the squad currently is setting up quite decently. Starting off in goal, we go with Foster against Burnley. Now I'm hoping that Foster does play, because as you can see on the bench there, we have Sanchez against Manchester United. I wanted to maybe take a little bit of a punt on just playing Sanchez because I don't own any Manchester United attackers, so maybe hope hope that Brighton do miraculously keep a clean sheet, but Forster definitely has the best fixture, so I'm just going to kind of hope that he starts in front of McCarthy. The rest of the defense, we've got Dallas and Lucas Digne with two lovely fixtures there. Lucas Digne, Everton facing Crystal Palace. That could be quite a good clean sheet there. However, Wilfried Zaha, as far as I know, will be starting in that game. So whenever Zaha plays, I'm a little bit less confident of the opposition team keeping a clean sheet, but hopefully Lucas Digne can get one and even accompany it with an attacking return. Dallas, not much to talk about there. Sheffield United, always going to play him in that game week. Probably one of the best fixtures to have, and from a Dallas point of view, I mean, that could even be a potential for an attacking return if he continues to play out of position in that midfield slot. Then finally, Soufal, I'm not going to mention him. If I do have to play him, I'm quite comfortable playing him there. Wolves haven't exactly been the best attacking side this season, so there could be a potential to keep a clean sheet, especially with the form that West Ham have been in, but the most likely move is going to be him out for one of the Chelsea options, and definitely will be starting Azpilicueta or Alonso over Soufal. The midfield department, we've got Rafinha and Bamford. I'm going to talk about them kind of together because I've already mentioned Dallas, but great fixture there. As you know, Leeds are such an attacking squad, and I don't really think they're going to be letting this game go down to just a 1-0 or 2-0. I think they'll continue to attack throughout the game, and that really pleases me as a Rafinha and a Bamford owner. Also with Bamford, he has recovered from his injury, so just ignore that yellow flag there. I think the Leeds manager came out and said, I think it was yesterday, that Bamford is back and should be fine. With Heung-min Son as well, Heung-min Son is currently orange flagged, but he was pictured in training, so you don't have to worry about that flag. He's going to be back for game week 30 against Newcastle, and I mean, what a fixture to come back into. Newcastle away, you've seen how Newcastle have been recently, absolutely dire, so I think that Son and Kane could get really good results out of this one. The option that I am kind of pondering is Gareth Bale, so against Newcastle, I always want to start him, but I just don't really think he's going to be starting this week. Hopefully I'm talking it into non-existence there, and Bale manages to start, but I'm not really confident in him, and I reckon that he might even come off the bench, or might not even come off the bench. I kind of would hope that he doesn't come off the bench then if he is benched, because then at least I'll get Lingard off the bench, who does still have a good fixture against Wolves. Finally, we've gone for Gundogan in the starting lineup. My kind of thinking with Gundogan is that if he doesn't start against Leicester, I don't think he'll come off the bench, and then I'll get at least a bench option who will replace him. With Dortmund up in the Champions League in the midweek, the thing about Gundogan as well is that he's played a lot of minutes in the international break for Germany, so you could be rotated in this one to kind of give him a little bit of a rest before that vital Champions League game. So with Gundogan, I'm starting him because if he does start, has a good potential to maybe get something, but also it is against Leicester, so I can kind of see him filling more of a deeper, more defensive position, and maybe KDB playing that more cam slot. So the rest of the forward line, my current captain is going to be Harry Kane, just because I think that fixture is too hard to ignore. The triple up on that Spurs attack is not kind of hindering me at all. I still kind of think that Harry Kane is one of the better captaincy options this week. However, I do think if you want to go for someone differential like a Rafinha or Bamford, that could also be a viable strategy. The final kind of striker that I've opted for is going to be Ollie Watkins against Fulham. Now, Fulham are one of the weird sides that at the start of the season looked absolutely terrible, but throughout the season they've kind of rebuilt and actually looking quite strong, not only defensively but also overall. So I'm hoping that maybe Jack Grealish returns in this game. We have seen him back in training, but the Aston Villa manager has been quite cryptic about whether he's going to start against Fulham. So I'm just kind of hoping that he does, because that's only going to make Ollie Watkins a better option. The bench this week, we have some good and bad fixtures. I'm perfectly comfortable benching a Diaz because I think the potential for a clean sheet is a lot lower for City in terms of that game, but I do think that City, one of the best defenses in the Premier League. So if he had to come on, I wouldn't be kind of worried. I think that he still has a potential, but just a little bit of a lower potential maybe than my other players. And then Lingard against Wolves. Now, Wolves, also a weird side, haven't really played up to the form of previous seasons, so maybe he could get a return here. And with the way West Ham have been playing, that should be quite comfortable. And also with Lingard being recalled to the England squad, so his confidence is going to be sky high, and I really would be fine starting him if I had to. And then finally on the bench, we've got Dunk, just because it is against Manchester United, so the clean sheet odds there might not be that great, and I am comfortable having him third place on my bench. So this is going to wrap the video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like it if you did, and subscribe if you new have not subscribed yet. If I don't do a deadline with Dayvy live stream tomorrow, I will update you guys over on my Twitter page at Dayvy FPL with the final team selection. Otherwise, I'm going to sign off. This has been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers, bye.